All right, let's do a little breakdown of GU today. First things first, we want to start off on the daily, see if we swept any liquidity that might make this one go a little bit higher. And I remember marking this in a little while ago. So here was our last daily liquidity sweep. All right, so we know there is momentum kicking in down here. Right now, after that, we can move into the 4-hour. Right, and we can start marking up all the different aspects of liquidity that are there as well. Right, so with that being said, we need to find where our last external sweep was now that we've already found our last daily sweep, right? Looks like these 2 points right here were our last external points of contact, right, on the 4-hour at least. So we know that there's momentum kicking in there to the downside, right? Just to train your eyes a little bit more, this would be that new daily low down here. Right, we know we have another previous day low resting right around here. We can see that there's another previous day low with a fractal resting here. This also is a previous day high. This also here is another previous day high. So that looks like our entire analysis based on the 4-hour. What I also can see here in terms of 4-hour breaks and daily breaks, right? So we can see that we have broken daily lows right here. We know once we have broken daily lows and or have taken daily or external liquidity, we need to trade up to the next point of external liquidity to ping pong, right? So that would be either this point here or this point here. So I'm actually going to favor the shorts more so than I'm going to favor the high time frame bias, only because we have just come back and taken out these 2 points of liquidity, right? Which may actually lead to, the continued shorts of GU and EU. Right. I also know that price has done what? It's ran all the way into this imbalance, right? And we know that once we take out liquidity like so, we can continue, right? So because we have taken out or have now mitigated all of this imbalance here after sweeping this previous day high and this previous day high, I'm going to assume the momentum is going to stick to the bear sides, right? Which is why I was primarily looking for shorts today. And once we get in a little deeper into this analysis, we're going to figure out why the shorts were actually a really well confirmed trade, right? But anyhow, look here, we have this break and this break as well, which validates this whole area right here, right? This whole POI, like this enormous imbalance as well. We can have all that marked. Obviously, it didn't react in this area, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Looks like we reacted strictly in, this POI right here. Yes, technically I am supposed to have it down here, but just for clarity reasons, I'm gonna have it like so, like this. So we can see here, market took longs after trapping sellers here. Market came back up, trapped, then retrapped again to short off. Right, we took out these highs over here, which validated this OP to cause the push up. Now we need to figure out why is this momentum still carrying down lower. Well, we already know that this is intact, right? Well, what on the lower time frames or algo structure has allowed this to short? And that is when we move into the 1-hour, right? When we move into the 1-hour now, right, we need to kind of do the same exact thing we were doing just on the daily and 4-hour, right? We need to find all of our liquidity in the market, right? Before we do the first day over here, I want you guys to do like a little 3 to 4 day look back when you're looking at the hourly, right? Remember, I always tell you guys on the 4-hour, right? It's not the 4-hour, but on the 4-hour, we generally want to have a 1 to 2 week look back. In the daily and the weekly, obviously, we can look back years in the time, right? We really have to keep in mind those look backs. They're very, very important. You don't want to be only looking at the past 2 days. It's definitely not enough information. Well, let's go back into here on the hourly. Let's do like a little 3 to 5 day look back. Looks like these 2 days really have no meaning as to what is going on now, right? Because we've created this low to this high. Everything from this low to this high is what's important, right? So everything in between here. Let's see, we can kind of count all the fractals all the way to over here that were made, but we clearly have this one. Right, on the hourly, I'm going to make all the previous day internal liquidity red, as always, right? Which gives this OB further validation. Right, if we come over here, we can see that we've taken out these 2 lows here, right? We even have this resting over here. So that is all the liquidity on the hourly from the previous days that we really need to draw in. That's in between what? this low and this high that created that range primarily for the week. Now, we need to go back. We see that these two lows were broken, right? And we see that this was broken as well. Well, yes, this was broken. We already have the OB drawn. Perfect. We don't need to worry about that anymore. This was broken by what? This OB over here. And so this OB is important to place in, right? Now, we also see that this low was taken out, right? Was there an OB and imbalance that we hit? Yeah. Here's this OB, right? As you can see, it left that slight imbalance in here. We're going to get there in a second, right? So we also need to draw in that imbalance. And I can see that you got maybe some minds are already clicking right now, but look, reaction, imbalance, reaction, OB here, reaction. We would have only known that if we were to piece together all these, the whole piece of the puzzle here, right? It's very important to really keep track of every single fractal that's pretty much coming into play here, right? And yeah, we could put this one in as well, but it really has no importance. It already did its job, right? Price came back down already into here, popped up, hit this OB to shoot back down, but it's not really of importance. It's not today. All right, now that we've marked out everything, why am I going to take this POI? This POI didn't break any substance, didn't break any liquidity. I don't really need to put that in there. All right, price comes in here, obviously reacts the previous day. We can already assume coming into Asia, right? Coming into Asia, we can assume that the momentum is going to kick, right? Not because of this, or just this. Remember, we have this high time frame bias kicking in with breaking these highs and these highs here. It's safe to say that it's okay to want to take longs here, right? So you can take longs into here, especially into Asia, pumping all those up. And then we can carry back out this bias back to the downside during New York and London, right? Now it's pretty much important to mark up those hourly points as well. Here we see that we have highs of the day. We have more highs of the day and then highs of the day, right? And as you can see, every single time we trap the highs of the day, go lower, trap the highs of the day, go lower. Next lows of the day, we're down here, right? And then we have intraday liquidity, which generally are used, as we know, for continuations, right? So coming into here, right? We have taken out highs of the day here. It's safe to assume that there actually would be an OB here, right? Because I don't know if you guys can see, this is an OB. Here's the imbalance in it. We are going to go over that. And then also over here, right, we have this breaking these lows down here. It's safe to say that this can become an OB. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the imbalance because it's just going to make the chart look really messy. Just understand that there would be red coming down to this point here. And just like I had it over here, there would be red coming up over here. Due to clarity, let's just get rid of this for now and understand that when price comes into here, right, we can start looking for positions, not that we're going to take positions, right? As we know, we're always looking for confirmation, right? Anyways, now hop into, let's see that I mark up all the hourly. All right, we have one more actually, this one right here. All right, now we can hop into the 15-minute. Let's just do London onwards. The only 15-minute liquidity points that are showing are this one here. Here, here, and here. All right, that's really it. That's fine though. Makes it easier, honestly. The less 15-minute, the better. All right, let's hop into it. Let's pretend like we were trading Asia over here. Right, we knew we were coming from a bullish bias based off all this over here. I'm just gonna stick in the 1 minute, but we come first thing and we break structure here. Price comes back, right? We could theoretically mitigating all of this, right? Once we break, we can just simply retest and run, right? A little break and retest, I guess you could say, right? All this is viable for price to continue going. So you could have went ahead and started buying into here, right? How would we know to do that? Well, I want to show you guys that all we really need is just a break of structure. We don't need to complete the AMD cycle. However, it just gets way too risky when you trade like this. But if you want to, you can, right? As you can see, price failed to change character until we change character here. You could theoretically just enter on buy stops, right? And then simply just grab those buys up to, this OB over here. That'd be a nice 1 to 15, honestly. Right, we can just do the same thing over and over again, right? This is, so we can see, nice high that was taken out, price comes back in. We eventually, let's just pretend like this is order flow, right? Price comes back in over here, right? Price changes character again right here. We simply have more buys, use these as the lows and scale in. You would not be able to use limits this way. That's the only problem. You have to market execute, right? It's just not something I can really just put in there all the time. Anyways, let's say we were trading up to this point here. As we know, this OB caused this break structure, right? So now we need to find those confirmation sells in order to get in this trade, right? So come into here, right? What could we have done? The only thing I would have seen, right, is that immediate change of character, right, after mitigating this here. There was no clear AMD cycle. So to be clear, I've not seen any good buy or sell models yet, just reaction like trades that you could have taken that are very high risk that I really wouldn't recommend. But yeah, I would have probably went break even around these 3 structure points right here. So I would have looked to go break even here, take some more profit here, and of course more of something around here as well. Notice I'm just taking swing highs and swing lows in the market, as I generally always do, right? So I could have maxed out TP generally around this area here. Now we haven't swiped any algo structure yet, so I wouldn't actually know to buy anywhere around here, right? If we were going to the 15-minute, let's come in. What have I known to buy right here? That's the bigger question. Or no, right here. My bad. This is where we're looking. You could have. I mean, you really could have, but it doesn't fit my criteria because there's no 15-minute fractal here, right? So there would have been no reason for me to actually buy in this area. However, there is a 15-minute fractal here, right? And as you can see, we swept that liquidity here, so that could be trapping all the sell stop orders, right? So once we trap all these sell stop orders here, perhaps we can then flip into the 1 minute, see if we either have an AMD or just a simple, change of character. But let's find where we first induce those lows. First inducement of those lows is actually right here. So we make a swing low to swing high all the way up here, and then we come all the way back down and break this low, right? And we come all the way back up. Do we change character? That's the big question. Here's that breakdown lower. Did we change character? Yes. Change character right here. I personally would generally like to wait for this to be that change. But this comes back all the way down to mitigate the extreme. It would be, right, I would have had money kind of sitting a little bit higher only because there is imbalance left in here. And that would have been a decent trade back up, right? Now, let's say we're coming all the way back into here, right? We finally induced the highs of the day, right? Meaning, we can look for buys anywhere around this area, right, to go higher. We're going to look there in a second. But let's look back way over here, right? Price does not enter into this point here. We see the AMD cycle right here, could have tapped into here, or, right, if you just want to wait for that first change of character, could have entered right as soon as it flipped. Still nothing that meets my general criteria yet. Anyways, price comes all the way down into this area here, right? Do we have any flips? No change of character. No change of character. No change of character. We do have this, like a little change of character, But you watch my most recent video, you know, this is just continuation down, right? Because this is actually a break structure, right? Unmitigated area into this supply zone just actually goes down. Remember, we need that flip to actually confirm this sell down. You could have scaled this in. Is it something I'm going to do? No, I don't want to take that risk. Anyways, we would know to actually avoid these buys right here because of this situated up here. All right, let's go back to this example over here. Notice how we don't have that, right? We simply change character. We didn't mitigate anything with an imbalance like this was right here, right? All right, this is a new buy entry model that I don't think I've showed you guys so many times. As we can see, we have finally came back to induce algo structure, right? Our most probable trades. In case you were wondering, the most probable trades that would have happened were here because we induced algo structure, and now here because we induced algo structure, right? And then here, right? Clearly, you can clearly see, you know, the ping pong that's arriving itself, right? Coming into this area right here, look, what do we have? Coming in, sweep, great. This is where we need that official change of character for the AMD cycle. Now, we sweep these lows, we make new lows, right? And we have a change of character and then another consecutive change of character. When this happens, right, when you have two BOSs like so, this bottom part becomes inducement, right? This high to this low becomes inducement, right? Especially as 1, 2, right? Here's that inducement buy up, right? This also becomes inducement. This actually becomes the area of interest, right? We're actually entering right here. This is a very good entry model to use. It's very rare, very rarely use it, right? And then that thing rockets, right? Over 1 to 35. And now the trade for today, right? We come all the way back, we induce algo structure once again, and we get into the main play, right? Which I was waiting for, right? Because I knew we took out these lows here. I was waiting for price to come to this OB to go lower. I knew the main move, the majority of the main move was going to happen here, right? All these other moves are just intraday plays until we got here, which we can actually swing all the way down these daily lows here because this is, you know, the money transfer from this area here. Right, so the overall move is most likely going to occur. So come back into the 1 minute. What did I see today? These did not have fractals on them, no. But I did see between this candle and this candle was a nice gap, right? Because there was a gap here, it clearly still made a high and a low, right? It was clear to me. There's clarity there. So I was okay with trading it, right? Whenever you can clearly see high to low, it's generally good to trade, even if there's no fractals there. I did not consider this a high probability trade though, because it did not have the fractals. If it did, it'd be a high probability trade, 100%. Anyways, I saw the sweep change of character. I took this OB with the imbalance. I originally got into this position here. I went break even here. As soon as price took that out, I got hit BE. As soon as this candle plopped down, right, I waited for one candle to plop back up. I started entering right here, and I re-entered back in. Right, so my entry started getting in right here, right, as you guys saw in my story. And then what you could have done was, here's that 15-minute, right, induce 15-minute lows, right? All we simply need is for price to come back to where it broke 15-minute lows, and then we need to have a 1-minute change of character. You could have started entering in more here, here, you get the point. Here's more 15-minute lows getting swept, right? We need to see those change of characters. That change of characters not happen until here. Could have gotten to more sell positions there, right? Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, hopefully this gives you a little bit better understanding of how you can enter for all you aggressive traders out there, right? The only entry criteria I traded today that I liked was this up here, right? Because it's, you know, it was the best setup possible. Wasn't awake for this, or all of this in the past. I didn't take this either. I mean, why? Because it's really not worth it, right? Like, just wait for these good setups. They produce the biggest moves, as you can see, compared to everything else. I mean, yeah, this probably had the highest RR, but this is just the most predictable and psychologically easiest, right? Do things that are psychologically easy, right? Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed today's breakdown, and I'll be sending this out shortly.